On today's Dinging Corners, we talk Mike Trout and Byron Buxton. We talk a little Wander Franco. We talk some Bowman Chrome Blue versus Bowman Chrome Base. And of course, we talk a little Akil Baddoo. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's Dinging Corners. Welcome, everyone, to Dinging Corners, a baseball podcast powered by SlabStox. I'm your host, Nate, and today we are going to be doing the 2021 Week 5 recap, but we're doing it a little bit different. So usually we go through, we have a little bit of conversation about something in the beginning, and then we go through and we talk about divisional recap, one guy from each division. We didn't do it last week because we did the 2021 Bowman Baseball recap. And we're not going to do it this week because there's just a lot I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to take up time to go division by division. I thought it would just take too much time. For starters, let's start with Akil Baddoo. So, Akil Baddoo, obviously, Rule 5 guy for the Tigers from the Twins, and he's had 22 games on the year, and his batting line, his hitting line, batting line, whatever you want to call it, is down to 203 with a 233 on base and a 522 slugging. The 203 average is not great. The 233 on base percentage is not great, but that 522 slugging is really nice. And a 755 OPS is not bad either. Of course, that is a 101 WRC plus on the year, which means he's 1% better than league average 1 month through the season, which for a guy that hasn't played above A ball is pretty good. It's pretty good. Nothing at all to scoff at for Akil Baddoo. That being said, the rest of it, not great. 4.1 walk rate, not good. 45.2% K rate, not good. The 4 doubles, the 3 triples, and the 4 home runs are nice, and the 0.2 Fangraphs wins above replacement, also pretty nice, considering you're really not expecting to get much out of a guy who hasn't played above A ball like Akil Baddoo. I know we bring him up every week. Let me just point out that I do not hate Akil Baddoo. I only bring him up because his prices went so high, and you just knew they were going to come crashing back down. And so while I want Akil Baddoo to do well in the majors, and I would love for him to have a long, very productive career, become a star, have all, many blessings his way, right? The reason I bring him up is because you look over here and his Bowman Chrome Auto started the year after his first 3 games. You remember the games: grand slam, first pitch home run in his first career game, and a walk-off single his 3rd game. And his prices went all the way up to $205, and the people that were buying there made a big mistake. And if it was you, I'm sorry that I keep bringing this home, but I want to keep bringing this up so that people remember not to chase the hot guy, not to chase the guy that has the Cinderella story, because likely you are going to lose money. And right now, we are 5 weeks into the season, and we went from $205 to $82. Now, there was some cards that were a little bit cheaper, but this was the last sale. So Akil Baddoo, 205 to 82. We'll see where it goes from here. It seems like it's stagnating a little bit at 82. So I think there's some people that maybe are trying to buy it to keep a floor. We'll see. That's our Akil Baddoo update. On to the next one, and we're talking injuries. So we had 2 major injuries to some very young guys this week. Dustin May was number 1. He is going to have Tommy John surgery. He is going to be out the rest of this year and probably a portion of next year. Stinks. It stinks a lot. I love Dustin May. You watch him on Pitching Ninja on Twitter, and you will see him lighting up pitching Twitter all over the place, throwing 9,800 mile per hour 2-seamers that move like 17 inches. It's insane. It shouldn't be possible. Dustin May was so much fun. And yet the Dodgers are going to have to figure something else out because he's out for the year, and it stinks that it had to be him. You don't want injuries to happen to anybody, but he was like the most fun pitcher the Dodgers had, at least from my perspective, one I enjoyed watching. I don't really enjoy watching. Clayton Kershaw is nice, but he's old now. I've seen him plenty of times. Trevor Bauer just doesn't interest me, right? And the list keeps going. Dustin May was really interesting. Julio Urias is interesting, but Dustin May was really interesting, and now that's been taken away. And this is the big risk with pitching investments. I love investing in pitchers. I think pitching investments are underrated. I think there's a good way to make money, but one bad move and your investment isn't moving for a year. And so you look at this, and April 29th, 2021, a Dustin May Topps Chrome Pink rookie PSA 10 sold for $81 on bids, April 29th. On May 3rd, the day or 2 days after he tore his elbow, I don't remember, it might have been the first, might have been the second, the day or 2 days after he tore his elbow, right? The same card, Topps Chrome Pink PSA 10 of Dustin May, sold for $62 shipped. So that is a $10 drop on the Dustin May Pink after the injury news. And we'll see where it goes from here. Dustin May isn't exactly a guy I'd be buying at $77 for a PSA 10 Pink. So it's not like this is a buying opportunity in my eyes. I think if you bought a bunch of Chrome and were grading them, that's a spectacular opportunity. If you're making 60, 70, 80 bucks, especially before prices went up to 25, and especially before PSA grading stopped, that was a spectacular opportunity, but not buying them at $80 and not buying them at 60. So sometimes injuries happen and they stink, but it doesn't create a buying opportunity. And for me, this is not a buying opportunity. And then number 2 on the list, and this is really, really unfortunate, especially for the White Sox because they already had the Eloy Jimenez injury, and that is Luis Robert. So he tore his groin, and he is going to be out 12 to 16 weeks. So Dustin May is out for the year and a lot of next year. Luis Robert is not out for the year, but he is out for probably, 3 to 4 months, which is really unfortunate for a guy who a lot of people enjoy watching and is really fun to watch just from a baseball standpoint, let alone a investment standpoint. And so we have his Bowman Chrome first PSA 10. So not his rookie, it's his first. We don't always cover rookie cards here. We'll cover a various multitude of cards, and this time I chose his first. And so on May 1st, his Bowman Chrome first card PSA 10 sold for $210 shipped. On May 5th, the day after today when I'm recording, but tomorrow, you're watching this tomorrow, on May 6th, the day after his injury news, they had dropped all the way to $180. That is a $30 drop in 4 days, and the big drop because of injury news. Now, I should point out that there is a lot of sales in here that are somewhat lower, so this might just be one of those lower sales. For the most part, they were in the 190 to 210 range, but there was an occasional one that was below that point. That might be this. There hasn't been another sale. So if you're curious, go on today, look up 2018 Bowman Chrome Luis Robert PSA 10 and see if there's another sale price in there so you can see if it's dropping. If it is dropping, that definitely might be a buying opportunity. I don't love Luis Robert. I think he's a little bit too boom or bust for me to really get on board with, but I know a lot of people do, and all you need is hype. And pretty much all you need is hype of him coming back from the injury to cause the prices to rise again. So buying opportunity there, but you're going to want to check the prices because I don't know if this 175 is legit or not. So that's our injuries, big time injuries this week, unfortunate injuries this week. One of those things that you hate to see as a baseball fan. You hate to see it as an investor. You hate to see it as a card collector, especially if you're a White Sox card collector or a Dodgers card collector. 2 of your young players are out. Not fun, not fun. And it's really not fun for baseball fans all over the place because these are 2 guys that are very fun and all over Twitter highlights, MLB highlights, all that stuff. And you're missing out on that, and it stinks. Okay, so minors recap. So we're going to do a minors recap and a majors recap, and we're going to recap one guy. And it's pretty easy to figure out who is going to be recapped because there's 2 guys that stick out, and they're also the 2 best players in each, the best player in each league. Minors recap is Wander Franco. So through 2 games, he has 8 plate appearances. Now, I say through 2 games. Mind you that the game is still going on right now while I am recording. So he's only had 3 plate appearances tonight, and he has 2 hits. He had 5 plate appearances last night, and he had 3 hits. So 8 plate appearances on the year, 5 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 1 home run. So he had a triple last night. He has a double and a home run tonight. He had a stolen base and Of those 3 outs that he has, 0 come from strikeout, which is really nice to see. He is making contact left and right. And if he keeps this up, there's literally no way the Rays don't call him up by like June 1st. I would have thought they would wait longer, but you cannot let this man tear up the minors like this and not have him on his team, especially when Willy Adames, good defender, bad offensive player, is in that spot. You could have Wander Franco there. It would be amazing. So Wander Franco absolutely scorching, 3 extra base hits, 5 total hits, and 8 plate appearances to start the year. It's time. It's Wander Franco time in the MLB, and I cannot wait to see what he does. If you have cards, hold those bad boys. Do not sell, because it's about to get really, really, really fun. And if you're waiting to buy, I would buy now. Get something. Even if it's a Bowman Chrome base, non-graded, get it, because you do not want to miss out on this opportunity. And then for MLB recap, who else could we have besides Mike Trout and Byron Buxton? So Aaron put up this post, the AL MVP race, and he said, how is there, there's such a big discrepancy between Pop Report and price for Mike Trout and Byron Buxton. And you can see it on the screen, and I will share the numbers for those of you that are listening. The Pop Report on Mike Trout, PSA 10 is $5,301, and the price is $4,275 for his Topps Update PSA 10. Byron Buxton's Topps Update PSA 10 from 2015, a Pop Report of 14. So from $5,301 to 14 and $275. So Mike Trout has a $4,000 lead on these 2 cards. Now we're going to go over the stats, and then we're going to talk a little bit about why this is, because some people are like, this is such a stupid post, and we'll talk about it a little bit and see what we can find out. Mike Trout, to be clear, I like the post. I think it was valuable. So there we go. 25 games, 105 plate appearances. He is hitting .407 with a .514 on base and a .779 slugging. That is Barry Bonds-esque territory with that on-base percentage and that average. Obviously, Ted Williams average territory, Barry Bonds on-base percentage territory. Absolutely amazing. A 1293 OPS. Incredible. Love to see that keep going. 1 month through the season, that's unbelievable. He has 35 hits with 8 doubles and 8 home runs on the season. 18 walks to 28 strikeouts, which is really nice to see. That's a ton of walks for him. And a 258 OPS plus, which is 158% better than league average, which is by far the best he's ever done. And he's been worth 2.1 Baseball Reference wins above replacement. On the other side, you have Byron Buxton, who has played 22 games with 89 plate appearances. He is hitting .386 with a .427 on base and an .819 slugging, which is good for a .1246 OPS. Byron is second in the league in average and on base. Mike Trout is first in the league in average and on base, but Byron is first in slugging and Mike Trout is second. But overall, Mike Trout is first in OPS and Byron Buxton is second. Byron has 32 hits on the year, including 9 doubles and 9 home runs. He's about to have double-digit doubles and double-digit home runs, and he's only played 22 games, 4 walks to 20 strikeouts, so he's never a big walk guy. He does a lot of damage by hitting the ball hard and getting extra base hits and taking hits away from the defense. And what I mean by that is running out ground balls and stealing singles, hitting ground balls to the outfield and stealing doubles. He's going to keep doing it. It is amazing. You love to see it. The strikeouts, not too bad. 20 in 22 games. That's really good. The walks, though, you would like to see that up a little bit, but you can't complain. 253 OPS plus is obviously amazing. It's a little bit behind Mike Trout's, but it is incredible for a guy that has been dealing with injuries and disappointments for a number of years, and you are watching Byron Buxton finally arrive, and he's worth 2.5 baseball wins above replacement in the first month of the season, which is absolutely incredible because there's like 5 months of the season. He would be a 10 win above replacement season plus, 10 plus wins above replacement on the season if he keeps this pace up. And you are looking at 2 guys who have elevated their game and are squarely 1 and 2 in the MVP race, whichever way you want to put it. It does not matter. I think you can make arguments for either guy, and nobody should bat an eye. That being said, Mike Trout probably going to win it. Byron Buxton definitely has, if he keeps this up, a couple MVPs in his system, which is why $275 for a Topps Update PSA 10 for Pop 14 seems kind of outrageous. But he's in that weird era of 2015, 2016, where you got guys like Chris Bryant and Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa and Corey Seager and Trey Turner that people just don't really love to buy, and I don't know why. I just don't have an answer for you. Now, as for their pop report and their price difference, there was one guy that was like, this is such a pointless post. Why would you put this up? And to some extent, I get what he's saying. Mike Trout is obviously Mike Trout. That's the reason his price is up. It's not because he's an MVP candidate and Byron Buxton is an MVP candidate. It's sustained success in the MLB level that drives your prices up. Juan Soto's prices have been driven up because of sustained excellence the last couple of years. Ronald Acuna too. Fernando Tatis, gonna get there, or is there already, with sustained success, even in a small sample size through 2 seasons and the beginning of a 3rd season. Now, Mike Trout obviously is a 3-time MVP, 8-time All-Star, 8-time Silver Slugger, and he has 76.1 career Baseball Reference wins above replacement. That's amazing, since 60 is the threshold for a Hall of Famer, and Mike Trout isn't even 30 yet. On the other side of the spectrum, you've got Byron Buxton, who, no MVPs, none of that stuff. He's played 64 out of 162 possible games between the minors and the majors in 2018. He played 87 out of 162 possible games in the minors and the majors in 2019, and he played 39 out of a possible 60 games in the majors last year in 2020. So if you're keeping track at home, he's barely playing any baseball games, 162 game seasons, and he's missing almost half of it, or a little bit more, less, or more than half of it each of the last 3 seasons. So the big thing for him, he can hit all he wants, he can be amazing all he wants, but I just don't think people are going to trust him to be healthy until he does it. And so I don't know if you're going to see his prices move that much unless he stays healthy this year and then starts out hot next year. So Mike Trout is that high of a price because of sustained excellence, and you can see it on the left side. Byron Buxton, that price because of so many injuries. As for head-to-head comparisons, Byron Buxton is 2 years younger, but has 62 less wins above replacement in his career, despite being 2 years younger. And that is the main reason between the price for Mike Trout and the price for Byron Buxton. Obviously, it's self-explanatory, but it's still interesting to look at considering they are the top 2 guys in the league, and there is a huge discrepancy between price and just PSA totals graded. And then finally, we went on to what to buy. Now, what I mean by what to buy is this. I'm looking at Herbert Perez autos because I would like to get one. As a Brewers fan, I'm very excited about him. I think we could have him be like one of the next 18-year-old kids that everyone wants to buy, and I want to get in on that, right? I'm a Brewers fan. I want to get in on that. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it, and it's like, what should I buy? Should I buy maybe 1 or 2 base, or should I try to buy something a little bit nicer, maybe a refractor, a purple, a blue? And, obviously the idea would be to buy the numbered card because that's better, but it's more expensive. I don't know if I want to spend that money. So what I did for this exercise was I went in and I grabbed a blue auto of a guy and then a base auto of the guy and tried to figure out the price discrepancy first with Headbutt Perez, figure out the price discrepancy there and how many base autos I could buy for the blue auto, and then go to other guys and see how it changes as their careers progress. Most of these are graded BGS 9.5, if not all of them. So do with that what you will. So first off, we've got Herbert Perez. On May 4th, his blue auto, number to 150, sold for $586. His base auto sold for $165. So if you're keeping track at home, you could buy 1 blue auto or you could buy 3.5 base autos. Now, obviously, you can't buy a half of an auto, but for this project, just bear with me, okay? You're not going to buy that half auto. Just assume you're putting that money in your pocket. But you can buy 3.5. So one blue auto or 3.5 is the question I wanted answered. What is going to get you more money in the future? If you had asked me before looking up the stats, I would have said, of course, it's going to be the blue. You get it graded. You get the base graded. If you get all the same grade, I would still take the blue. I don't think you're going to hit enough money on the base, but we're going to dive in deeper to find out if that's the case. And so sure enough, we got here, first example, Juan Soto. So he had a 2016 Bowman Chrome Blue Auto, number to 150 BGS 9.5, sell on March 8th for almost $30,000. We're talking $29,878 there. On March 9th, a day later, he had a BGS 9.5 Bowman Chrome Base Auto, sell for $4,402. $1.99. So $4,402. So almost $30,000 on March 8th for the blue BGS 9.5 and a little under $4,402 on March 9th, a day later. If you look at the side, you could either have gotten one blue auto or 6.8 base autos for the same price. So obviously, if you're looking at that, if you can only buy 3 Headbutt Perez autos or 1 blue auto, and it continues the same trend as this, you'd obviously want to go the blue auto because you're making more money. But this is just one example. So let's take another one. And we've got Ronald Acuna. So on February 23rd, a Bowman Chrome Blue Auto number to 150 BGS 9.5 sold for $14,800 on a buy it now or best offer. Pretty hefty price there. $14,800. On February 21st, 2 days earlier, you could have bought a Bowman Chrome BGS 9.5 base auto for $3,759 or $3,760. The difference in that is you could have bought 1 blue auto or 3.9 base autos. So you could do 1 blue auto today or 3.5 Herbert Perez's. You move forward with the Ronald Acuna, and you can either buy 1 or 3.9 base autos. So yet again, another example of where buying the blue auto, me buying the blue Headbutt Perez would be a better option if it follows this trend than buying a couple base. Fernando Tatis is our next example. So we've got a Fernando Tatis blue auto BGS 9.5 that sold for $15,500 on April 25th. The same day, April 25th, we had a base auto BGS 9.5 sell for $3,800. Now, it should be pointed out that, of course, not all these BGS 9.5s are going to be of the same ilk. There's going to be some gem mint, some true gems, some true gem pluses, right? And so you are going to find that not all these cards have all the same subgrades, but this is as good as I could do with what was given to me on eBay. So bear that in mind, and bear in mind that if you're buying raw Headbutt Perez, or if you're buying a raw blue Headbutt Perez, you might get a PSA 9 on the blue, and you might get PSA 10s on all the base. That would definitely set you way ahead. Okay, but assuming you get all the same grades on these autos, the blue would be the way to go. And so you're looking at $15,500 for the blue and $3,800 for the base auto of Franco, Fernando Tatis BGS 9.5s, and that equates to 4.1 base auto BGS 9.5s for 1 blue auto. So yet again, if Headbutt follows suit and you assume you got all the same grades, you'd be better off buying the blue. And then lastly, since I took just 3 of the top guys, and I just wanted to do a random guy in the minors right now to see if it still holds. Like, of course, people are going to pay a ton of money for like a Juan Soto blue, right? Because it's rare. But will people do the same thing for a guy that's just in the minors and is playing in the minors currently? So I thought of Riley Green, first guy off the top of my head. So a Riley Green blue refractor number 150 BGS 9.5 sold for $1,275, $1,275 on April 27th. Now, this is not a perfect comparison, but 2 days later, a BGS 9.5 but 9 auto Riley refractor auto number to 499 sold for $320. So this is a refractor auto, slightly better than the base auto, but a 9 grade. I don't know how much people care about the 9 grade, but I'm sure there's a little bit of a ding in price because of that. That being said, the refractor offsets the 9, and so this should be a pretty fair comparison for the base BGS 9.5, but I think it's still a little bit high. I bet you can probably get a base BGS 9.5 for 300, maybe even a little less. Which would make this number worse because you could buy one blue auto of Riley Green at $12.75, or you could buy 4 refractor BGS 959 Riley Greens for $3.20. So if you look at it that way, it's getting even worse for guys that are in the minors because you have the one card that's way more expensive than a refractor even, which is also numbered to $4.99, which is a better buy than the base card. So even if you're getting from the major guys down to the Riley Greens of the world, blue clearly still a better price, especially from the point where you could get 3.5 base autos for one blue, or each one of these as you move forward was you could get 3.9 or 4, which means you'd want to invest in the blue of Headbutt Perez now so that you can make better profit later, because if you invest in the base, you would end up needing more base to make up the difference than less base cards to make up the difference. So one last look at that Headbutt Perez. If this trend continues, you're expecting to have to own 3.9. You can only buy 3.5. You'd expect to have to own 3.9 or 4.1, or if he gets really good like Juan Soto, even more than that to make up the difference in price for the blue, if assuming they all grade the same. Now, there is some risk here. You buy the blue and at PSA 9s, obviously, and the rest PSA 10, the base PSA 10, you're walking away with way more money. But I do think it's interesting. I do think it is what I would have said to start. And it just goes to show you that sometimes if you're saving up some money and you're going to spend like $400 on Headbutt Perez autos, maybe you spend the extra $150. I know it's easier said than done, and get the blue auto and set yourself up for better success later on than right now. Now, that being said, you would have to sell one card. You couldn't sell one Herbert Perez when it gets more expensive, recoup all your profits, and then take just profit, or recoup all your expenses and then just expenses and just take profit on the other two Herbert Perez's. You can't do that if you buy one blue Herbert Perez. But in the long run, everything equal, you should make more money on the blue than the base. We'll see if it holds out. I love Herbert Perez. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't really have $586 I can spend on a blue, so I'm probably going to go with base anyways. But any which way you do it, you can't go wrong because you're getting a Bowman Chrome auto of a kid who's really good, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is all I have for you. Again, sorry there is no divisional recap. It's one of those things that we're already at 27 minutes, and if I did that, it would have taken way, way longer, and I don't want to keep you here all day. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have thoughts on my blue versus base chrome process, let me know. I can be wrong on these things. You know, if you have thoughts on how Mike Trout's been doing, or Byron Buxton's been doing, or Wander Franco's been doing, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to this Dinging Corners today, and I will talk to you guys again next time.